Okay guys, we are finally back with another video, and as promised we are going to be looking at the Demon Hunter today. So I have gone ahead and gone with the first one that you can pick up with the season set, I do believe, is the Marauder's Treads. So if you're, or the embodiment of the Marauder, I should say, and I'm looking at the Marauder's Treads here. So what this set is really good for is increasing your primary skills and empowering your sentries. So you're going to want to have as many sentries down as possible, and you're going to want to be using all of your abilities that they will also double up. So you have Elemental Arrow, Chakram, Impale, Multi-Shot, and Cluster Arrow. Now what this also does is it calls all companions to your side, so you can have all the effects of the companion abilities going as well. So what I'm looking at here is I've got Calamity as my weapon. It automatically casts Marked for Death when you damage an enemy. And then I have over here the Bombardier's Rucksack, which is great for this set because it allows you to have 2 additional sentries, and it increases sentry damage by 100%. So you're putting down up to 4 sentries at a time, and they're able to do that much extra damage. Now I also have Zoe's Secret, which is taking 10% less damage for every companion you have active, which is pretty useful. I am running Convention of the Elements here, and then I just have a Hellfire Ring here, and then just Squirt's Necklace here. So those are some filler items that aren't entirely necessary and definitely aren't best in slot. As for the head, I don't actually have the rest of the set, but I do have, luckily enough for me, I have the Royal Ring of Grandeur, which reduces my set bonus requirements. So I am still able to get the full set bonus right now without having all 6 items in slot. But basically what the idea of this set is, I have a Kelocuris, which will keep my damage reduction pretty high. As long as I am above 90% primary resource, I'm going to take 50% less damage. So if I'm just casting sentries and using my basic attacks, then I'm going to be doing 1200% extra damage, and I won't be taking as much damage at all. But with the companions out there, I'm going to be reducing my damage taken anyway. I have Dawn, which is going to reduce the cooldown of Vengeance by 65%. So I'm going to be running Vengeance, and you're just going to be popping that as often as possible because that's going to just ramp up everything you have. So you're going to have side guns, and then you're going to have homing rockets and Vengeance. So you're just going to be doing a ton of damage, and then we're just going to be reducing all damage taken once again. So we're going to have a lot of survivability stuff here, and we're going to be doing a lot of damage. So looking at your skills, I'm just running Grenade, which is going to be cold, because I have Numbing Traps, because anything hit by a sentry have their damage reduced by 25%, but that's also going to cover anything that's slow, chilled, or hit with Phantom Knives. So that's why I'm going to be using this. So my basic attacks will also be chilling all enemies, so that's going to be reducing their damage. Sentry, I just have them running Spitfire Turret, which is the one that will give us, the turret also fires homing rockets at random enemies for 120% weapon damage as fire. So that's pretty nice. And then like I said, we're running Vengeance, and we're doing the Dark Heart buff, which fills your heart, reducing damage. So that's why I'm running that one in particular. Cluster Arrow, I have Shooting Stars because this is a massive AoE burst right on the target. You fire cluster arrows that explodes for 650% weapon damage as physical, and releases up to 2 rockets at nearby enemies that each deal 600% weapon damage. Then you got to factor in that if you have 4 turrets, all 4 of them will be casting this as well. So you're just going to be able to nuke down target areas. Then I have Multi-Shot. Fires a massive volley of arrows, dealing 360% weapon damage to all enemies in the area. This is a big cone of fire, basically. And then once again, every time you fire, you launch 3 rockets at enemies, dealing 300% weapon damage as fire, and your turrets will be casting that as well. And then for the actual activation for the companion, even though I have all of them active, I've chosen the one that summons that instantly gains 50 hatred. So if I start burning through hatred, casting these different skills, I'm going to be able to just hit that and pop that right back up. So like I said, I'm running Numbing Traps here, using Awareness here, which same thing as a lot of the Witch Doctor builds with the Spirit Vessel. This will bring you right back to life if you get caught out. Cull of the Weak, increased damage against slowed or chilled enemies by 20%. So once again, with me throwing my grenades, that's going to keep everybody slowed down. And then ambush, we're going to deal 40% additional damage to enemies above 75% health. So basically we're going to be able to melt guys down to 75% health, and then we'll just work on them from there. So that seems to work out pretty well. This build right here is actually running pretty smoothly at Torment 10. So we're going to be running a level 45 Greater Rift today. I'm going to take it down there and I'm going to show you guys how this is run. So sit back and enjoy, and we'll talk about how it went at the end of this run. Okay guys, so as you saw, that build works really well. So we were able to run through that at a record-breaking time. I've actually done it a couple of times before doing a little bit of farming, and that was by far the fastest I've made it through it. So just being able to pop that Vengeance fairly constantly keeps your health way up, which is nice. You really don't take that much damage, and you already have 800,000 health to begin with, so it's a pretty tough build to begin with. And then you reduce all damage by 50% on top of reducing it by 8% for every companion you have active, and you've got 3 of those. So you're running 3 extra minions, or the companions, I guess, but I've actually got, you know, ferrets and everything else. They just don't count up here in the top. You could see them down here. So I'm sure that they actually factor into that somewhat. So you're looking at probably close to another 50% damage reduction there, which is pretty nice. So all in all, we're taking very little damage and dishing a whole lot out, where sentries are able to just nuke down guys really regularly, and just being able to use your hate generators are very nice, because you're able to keep these numbers high, which keeps this Curus high, which is once again reducing more damage taken. So it's an extremely tanky set. So basically the way you want to go into every fight, I try to cast them as far out as I can when I'm walking from room to room that way, and I put them in corners so they can shoot down following aisleways, because they're going to keep shooting with us. So you want to just keep moving them along with you as you move that way. That way you can keep a steady line of turrets up in front of you, and they last for quite a while, and you can have up to 4 of them going. So with that said, you do 4 times the extra damage, because with every one, for every active sentry, you do 1200% increased damage. So you're actually going to end up doing 4800% extra damage, and then those guys are doing 400% extra damage plus an additional 100% extra damage because of this. So these turrets are doing a lot, you're doing a lot because of the turrets, and you're not taking very much damage. So all in all, it's a very solid set. I'm going to see just how far or how high I can take it once I start filling in some best in slot here. This is a nice weapon to have, but it's definitely not ideal. and the rings are all just filling in the blanks, as are the wrists. So I could use the rest of the head. I can get some better stuff in the cube, and I can do some more work to this. So it's still got room to grow on top of that, and it's easily running what it has already. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate all the support I've gotten so far. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Check me out on Twitter and leave a comment there if you have any questions. Or just tune in to Twitch Monday through Friday, and I'll be going over this stuff live, and you can chat with me and ask me your questions there. So thanks again, guys, and have a great day.